So today I want to ask you all a question. What is the interaction between the culture of a company and the creation of its product? And which comes first, the product or the culture? So I'm with BrainPOP, as you've heard, and I am the Chief Culture Officer. And BrainPOP is a learning platform. We have all sorts of content topics, everything from Cleopatra to game theory to photosynthesis. We cover all of the curriculum, and we try to do so in a really humorous way, utilizing our character here, Moby. And the idea, excuse me, the idea is that we really try to speak at eye level to kids and encourage teachers to be great teachers. So, oops, wrong way. There we go. So really the core of the culture, the kernel of our culture, is really our founder and CEO, Dr. Avram Kadar, also happens to be my father, full disclosure. He started BrainPOP out of his medical practice almost 20 years ago in 1999. And he got together with Mike Watanabe, who at the time was an animator and designer, and is still with us today as our Chief Creative Officer, another CCO. And together, they really formed the kernel of what today our culture is based on. Dr. Kadar is a physician, brought with him the compassion and the deep listening, and the fact that he looked at the child as an individual. And Mike brought with him the playfulness and creativity that we still have today. Fast forward 20 years, and we're a global company with 150 employees in America, 30 employees in Israel. We have a few other BrainPOPers sprinkled throughout the world. We are in 40% of the schools in the US, K through 8. And really, what we did is, on a culture level, is we tried to formalize our existing culture into what we have today. Now, listening to other presentations today, I can tell you that we do a lot of different little things. And I'm just going to give you 4 examples of some themes that run through our work, but I'd love to expand on it if I talk to you personally later. So, wellness. It's the first obvious theme, because all of our first movies were based on health. And really, again, with the child in mind, we did themes like, we did movies, that is, topics about autism or menstruation or asthma, things that really concerns children. So in our day-to-day life, in our office, our company culture has a lot of wellness in it. We do everything from classes, exercise classes that come to the office. We have a volleyball team. We also do a 30-day water challenge where every employee is encouraged to drink a certain amount of water for a month. And why I like this particular one and why I decided to bring it to your attention today is because this is one that cost no money at all. It was geographically limitless. All of our employees around the world were able to do it. And it also is intergenerational. So all our different generations in the office, there was not a skill level that you had to have in order to do the water challenge. Another really interesting aspect and really a guiding principle that we've had at BrainPOP since the beginning is that since our founder was a doctor and really understood the value of people's health in order to do good work, we cover 100% of an individual's employee's health insurance. So in Israel, that's not really an issue since it's government covered, but in America, it's the employee's decision on how much of the health insurance they want to cover. And we really made a commitment from the beginning and to this day that we cover 100%. Oh, sorry. Okay. Playful engagement. I mean, this is really the core of what I do. I try to engage our staff in all kinds of different events and make sure that there is an educational ethos running through our company. So when we do a day of service, like a community service event, we make sure that it's tied into the education space, whether it's a teaching garden that we go and we fix, or we pack backpacks for kids. We celebrated the total eclipse because that's fun and nerdy, like we like to do. We did Pi Day, where we celebrate the number pi. It's on March 14th, in case you didn't know. And we have competitions between our employees to see who can memorize the most digits of pi. And then, of course, we have pie for dessert. And then, actually, to Nir's point from before, we also have schools come in for school field trips so that we are always exposed to kids and to what the learning cycle is like. We do play testing in the office as well. Things like that to make sure that the whole office is exposed to education, and we really have an educational ethos running through the office. So 2 years ago, we did a holiday party, our annual big event, and the theme was space, and we really got into the whole space idea. This is the invitation that we had. We went to the Hayden Planetarium in New York City. We saw a movie about dark matter. It was a really nice, intense space theme. And what was amazing was that the next year, when we did an effectiveness study, the marketing team decided to utilize the same internal branding campaign as our external branding campaign. And so I bring this because it's an example of where your culture can actually affect your outside work product. I mean, it was just something that was in the air, but it was reutilized in a way that we now use with our customers. So, of course, learning and development, very important in every office. But I really try to bring in high-caliber speakers to just spark the imaginations of our employees. And actually, I bring in CEOs from other companies, speakers in all kinds of disciplines, professors from different universities, from here in Israel as well. And I just want to point to another example where, because we brought in a speaker who spoke about a certain aspect of SEL, social emotional learning, we were able to act as a catalyst for a product that you see right here. So we've always had SEL content at BrainPOP. We do movies about bullying and death and mourning and depression. But because this person came in and the chatter started in our Slack channels, we read the book, we were discussing it, all of a sudden this became a project that was actually put on our roadmap and was executed. And this happened just last week. We have a whole curated collection of SEL movies that are now standards aligned. And again, culture does have an effect. Lastly, I want to talk about internal innovation. As a company, we started this thing called the Prototyping Lab. Now, the Prototyping Lab is not so much a space, it's a concept. It is a month that we take to explore a certain project that there's interest in among the staff. We actually have a little bit of we poll employees, and then certain things came to the top. And then we put a team that was cross-multidisciplinary from different departments to work on it together. And they're given a month, and they either come out with a product or company learning. So I'm glad to say that we had 2 such prototypes already go through and now are being developed as products. And then, aside from that, the whole idea of bringing in different people from different teams to work together actually had a different effect in that we're restructuring some of our teams in order to continually work in this way that's incredibly collaborative. And again, this is a little bit of a thing where of the company being educational and trying new things has really led to changes in the organization and into some actual products that we're producing. So to answer my question from the beginning, yes, there's a strong connection between your product and your culture. In fact, they're in continuous feedback with one another. And I would even go as far as to say is that what we create is a reflection of who we are, and who we are is a reflection of the work we do, and they're all brought together by shared values. And if I could just leave you with one more thought, EdTech company to EdTech company, I would love to let you know that if you are in an educational field, it's really important to bring in that educational ethos into your day-to-day as much as you can, trying to connect with your end user, because that, in the end of the day, affects the customer, and that's, in our case, it's the student. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Bravo, Maya.